Okay, today's class, as I just told you, is just a revision of all the knowledge that we have, all the theorems, all the definitions and all of that that we have till 9th grade that we have accumulated in this chapter. Okay, like you know, geometry is a building which cannot build further if the previous floor is not ready. Okay, so you have to build the previous floor first. So you're going to run through all those floors from our foundation till here in circles chapter. Okay, we'll not start all the way from point, or we'll start from circle. What all do we know? Okay, so can you start with what is a circle? So we are not writing anything today. Okay, you are listening to me. We are paying attention on the board. This video will be uploaded. Okay, this is not 10 class syllabus per se. Okay, so you listen to me, follow with the class, and be interactive. That's our goal here. Okay, so tell me, guys, what is the definition of a circle? Okay, question is open. Yes, Dikshit. Perfect. That's good enough. Okay, collection of all points which are at a fixed distance from one point. Okay, from one fixed point. Okay, which are at a constant distance from one point, or which are at the same distance from one point. All of these definitions are okay. What's happening here? Everything that's on this curve, it's a curve, right? Circle is a curve. Remember curve? Yeah, it's what kind of curve? Simple, closed, simple and closed, right? Simple, closed curve. Yeah. Is it a polygon? No. Why is it not a polygon? Why is it not a polygon, Mansa? It does not have line segments. That's all. Okay. Other than that, simple it is, closed it is. Okay. Now circle. This point is called what? Haimanji? This point is called what? Center of the circle. Okay. Center of the circle, and this distance is called what? The distance between the center to the. Okay. Before the distance. Let's call. What is this called? What is this thing called? Deepak? Circumference. Circumference is the length of this thing. Okay. The actual thing is a circle. Okay, that's the circle. Okay, inside the circle will be called dash. Outside the circle will be called dash. There are two words for it. Yes, Dikshit. Inside, interior. Deepak. Exterior. Okay, interior, exterior. Good with that? Yeah. Now this thing, the distance from the center to the circle is fixed. That we know. That's the definition of the circle only. Without that, circle will not form. Okay. So Shri Priya, what is this distance called? What is this orange distance called? This is called the radius. Okay. Can a circle have two radiuses? It cannot have two radiuses because I mean it can have many. But the measurement will be same, right? How many radiuses can we draw for a circle, Hemantanji? Infinite radiuses we can draw. We good with that? Okay. Yes. All right, not getting into that. Okay, we have touched upon it. You can just the same reason, Dikshit, same reason in a line segment. How many points are there? What is the definition of a point? One more word is it has no size. How many things of no size can you put here? You are putting point, it is having size. So actually it is not a point. You remember that discussion? I think we've touched exactly this before. Okay. At point. So even when you draw this should have zero thickness, but some thickness it is having, no, because of my pen. So if you start drawing things with zero thickness, how many can you draw now then? Infinite we can draw. We get that? Okay. Clear with that? Okay. Now that was, so we have touched upon center of the circle. We have touched upon what the circumference is. We know the interior and exterior. We know what is the radius. Okay, radius is the distance from the center to the circle. Okay, now definition. Okay, next thing we have to touch upon here is a chord. What is a chord? Okay, I'll draw one chord for you. You tell me what is a chord. Maybe if Bindu can try, what is a chord? I have drawn a chord. Do you want to try to define it? Anyone here? Yes, Deepak. Okay, go ahead, Bindu. It's a line segment. Is that all? Is this also a chord? This is a line segment. Inside the circle, is this a chord? Why is this a chord? It is touching the circumference. So is this a chord? This is also touching the circumference. Is this a chord? Endpoints are lying on the circle. Okay, a line segment in which the end points are lying on the circle is a chord. Are we good? Not, that's not enough. Those two are also end points of the line segment. You should note that. Okay, if I draw something, one second, huh? Let me make a proper circle. This line segment is a chord. Okay, this line segment is a chord, but this line segment has a chord in it, but it's not a chord. If I take this full A to B, that will not be a chord. BC will be a chord. Are you understanding? So the end points of the line segment should be on the circle. Okay, not any two distinct points. That particular end point of the line segment, that should be, that can be anywhere on the circle. We good with that? Okay, which is the longest chord in the circle? Nishchay. Diameter is the longest chord in the circle. Why will it be the longest chord? Because it will. So when we start drawing the diameter, diameter is actually, what's the definition of a diameter? Can you completely say that, please, once again? A line segment passing through center is this. Is this a diameter? A dash passing through the center. Put a word there. Yes. No. Chord. Correct, Nish. Okay. A chord passing through the center. So this is a chord, and it is passing through the center. Then what it became? Diameter. Okay with that? So that's the diameter. All right. It also happens to be the longest chord. Okay, because this is not a diameter. Okay, only AB is diameter. Are we okay with that, Manisha? Yeah, line is not a diameter. In that line, that AB part is diameter. Okay with that? Yes. Any questions here? 2 into radius is the dash of a diameter. Length of a diameter. Perfect. Okay. Diameter is that chord. 2 into radius is the length of the diameter. Okay, and we usually represent it by the letter D. Okay, and length of the radius by the letter R. Okay with that? Now, actually, the radius also you can define it as the distance between the center to the circumference of the circle, or to the circle. Okay, yeah. Now, diameter is done. Let's move on to arc. Yes, arc. Arc kya hai? Anyone remembers? I'm going to draw it once again quickly here. So this thing, this green thing is an arc. Why am I saying it's an arc? What is this green thing basically? It's a piece of a circle. It's a part of a circle. It's a curved line which is a part of a circle. Okay. So yeah, if you just take piece of a circle between 2 points, or part of a circle between 2 points, that's an arc. Okay. Now whenever I take any 2 points, 2 arcs are going to be formed. Okay, perfect. There's the minor arc and the major arc. Okay, correspondingly, now we'll keep on going. Okay, now what's happening? Okay, whenever I draw a chord, I'm going to draw a chord here. Let this be this is a chord. Okay, AB. It is not the diameter, right? If it is diameter, both arcs will be equal. They will be called what? Semicircles. Thank you. Okay, if I'm drawing diameter, then this will be semicircle. This will be semicircle. Correct? I'm not drawing diameter. I'm drawing another arc, which is another chord. That's just AB. Okay. So it is just dividing the circle into 2 areas. Correct? What are these areas called? Yes, Hemanji.
Minor and major.
The word is segment. Okay. So this is segment. This is also a segment. Okay. Segment is the area between the region between chord and the arc. Perfect, Nishay. Okay, segment is the region between the chord and the arc. Okay with that? Anyone? Any confusion so far? Segment is this. So you've got segment, we've got arc, we've got chord. All right. Segment. This region, MG. This region is segment. The region between the chord and the arc. Okay. The region between chord and minor arc is called minor segment. And the region between the chord and the major arc is called major segment. Okay with that? Any questions? We good? Move ahead. Okay. The next thing that we need to know is sector. Okay. Anyone remembers? We need 2 radius. Fantastic. Dikshit, lovely. I have seen that you have used some time throughout the day. Very good, Dikshit. Huh? In house also. Fantastic. So here we are AB. So we have 2 radii. Okay. We have 2 radii joining O to A and O to B. We are going to, what is being formed right now is called the This is called the sector. Okay, this is called the sector. Now there is obviously minor sector, major sector also. Same way it's happening here. So whenever you draw two radii, you will end up with two sectors. Correct. So what will you define the sector as? Two radii and the arc and the corresponding arc which is formed by these radii. Okay, not any. So I'm not going to take these two radii and this arc. No, I'm going to two radii and the arc which is formed by them. Okay, any questions? All right, that's all of our definitions in this chapter so far. Okay, I'm going to move to theorems. All right, bolo. Go ahead. Dilwa, kya bolo? Yeah, there are a lot of theorems. Okay, so we're going to begin one by one. Okay, and right now you're not writing. Okay, I will maybe we'll write all the theorems once. You will write in this. No, all the definitions are not necessary. Okay, we're good, I think. All right. Okay, so now the first theorem. The first, I want to once again give me a notebook. We have labeled these theorems last year, no? C1, C2, 1C, 1C. Can I give that? I'll use the same numbers. That's why. Okay. Thank you, Riza. Yeah, we'll use the same number so that we are able to remember it. Okay. Minute. All right, let's begin with theorem 1C. Okay, so we'll use the same label so that for us it is easy. Anyhow, in the exam you cannot use any numbers, right? So since we cannot use any numbers in the exam right now, we will just stick to our numbers so that we have an understanding. We have a language in class. Okay, so theorem 1C: equal chords of a circle subtend equal angles at the center. Okay, I'm going to write this theorem. You're going to imagine, or maybe no, writing will take a lot of time. You stay with me here. Okay, equal chords of a circle subtend equal angles at the center. Okay, all right, let me tell you. So today's homework will be what? Okay, this theorems which you're going through. Okay, I want all of this written once in your notebook. Okay, you have put the heading circles. No, so what we are doing right now in class. Okay, your theorem should be there, drawing should be there, and just the explanation, like what does it mean? No proof, not at all. Okay, so equal chords of a circle subtend equal angles at the center. So how will I do it? Okay, what I mean equal chords. So suppose Mn and PQ are equal chords. So if Mn equal to PQ, then so instead of given to prove, you can write if and then. Okay, so if then angle MON will be equal to angle POQ. Are we good? That's all. That's your homework for today. Okay, you don't do this for all the theorems that are there in this chapter. Okay, a lot of theorems are there. Okay, yeah, just like this. You can keep writing a rough note if you want to write with me, but your attention should be on the board here. Okay, you understood what happened here? Okay, equal chords. If I know that Mn and PQ are equal, which means this angle and this angle will be equal, then part. All right with that? So if you're given M and PQ are equal, you can say that the angles of the center are equal. Got with that? Now the second theorem, so theorem 2C. Okay, theorem 2C is the converse of this theorem. Okay, what is it? If in a circle. So here we're going to write the converse. If in a circle, guys, your attention is on the board. Okay, if in a circle, angle subtended at the center by two chords are equal, then the two chords are equal. Okay, what you can do right now is don't write this. So right now if you're doing it, don't write this part, just write 1C and draw the diagram and do this. Okay, just roughly you draw it, ghar mein jaake kar dena properly. Go do that. Okay, just a suggestion since you're taking notes. Okay, stay with me here. So what is going on here? So you have the circle. Okay, there are two chords, they are both subtending some angles. So Mn is subtending some angle, PQ is subtending some angle to the center, right? MON and POQ. Okay, with that same thing we'll use. So if angle MON is equal to angle POQ, what will happen? Then part, can you tell me, Mansa? Then the two chords are equal. Then PQ equals to Mn or Mn equal to PQ. Okay with that? Yeah. So if you are given this, you can assume that, you can conclude that the chords are also equal. Good with that, Shripriya? Everyone following? Okay, I'm going to continue here. Next is theorem 3C. Okay, theorem 3C is, one second, let me also put tick marks on what we are doing. The perpendicular from the center of the chord to the center of the circle to the chord bisects the chord. Okay, the perpendicular from the center of a circle to a chord bisects the chord. Okay, what are we talking about here? Okay, go back to a circle. Okay, now there is a chord here. The chord will be ds. Okay, now here we have center O. We are joining from O. We are dropping a perpendicular. Okay, from O we are dropping a perpendicular to this chord. We are just drawing a line segment. One side is on O. One end is on O and one end is anywhere on this. Okay, but wherever that end is, it should be perpendicular. That will happen only at one position. No, if I go a little this side, it will not be perpendicular. If I go a little this side, it will not be perpendicular. So it will happen only this, and this will also be the dash distance between the point. Yes. No, what? Random. Two things. This distance will be the dash distance between the center and the chord. No, it will be the shortest distance. Okay, and it is the shortest distance. Any point. So we have a railway track going. If we have to find the shortest distance from there to there, we have to draw a perpendicular. Okay, a perpendicular distance is always the shortest distance between two things. We have seen that before. Yes. Okay, so basically what we're saying is if OP, okay, if OP is perpendicular to DS, then DP is equal to PS. What with that? Yeah, then it bisects the chord. DP equal to PS. Good with that? Moving on in 3, 2, 1. Okay, theorem 4C. All right, theorem 4C. If a line drawn through this, this is the converse of the previous theorem again. Okay, theorem 4C is again the converse of the previous theorem. That is what it is saying, that the line drawn through the the line drawn through the center of a circle to bisect a chord. Okay, now we are assuming that it is bisecting. Okay, we are assuming that there is one line which is going through this. Okay, we don't know it's perpendicular or not, but your conclusion is that it will be perpendicular. Are you understanding? To bisect the chord is perpendicular to the chord. Okay with that? Yeah, so same thing. Your diagram will be same. This is the diagram. There is this, you're drawing a line. Okay, you're drawing a line like this. It is passing through the center. Okay, OP is a line passing through the center. DS, if DP is equal to PS, that is this line, this blue line is bisecting, means making it into two equal parts. Then what is the conclusion, Manisha? OP is perpendicular to DS. Okay with that? You can also write then angle OPB is equal to 90 degrees. This is also a way of writing. Okay, anyone you can write. Good with that? Move ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Theorem 5C. Okay. I don't know. Stay with me here. Okay. All right. So theorem 5C. We are at this is a good theorem. Okay. This is something which we spent a lot of time discussing, but we did not have a formal proof in the textbook, though we had some kind of proof. I'll just go to it. Okay. There is one and only one circle. One and only one circle passing through not 3 points. It cannot pass through any 3 points. There is a specific criteria there. Very good. Passing through 3 non-collinear points. Okay. Why? What's going on here? Just let us take a minute to consider this. If I have collinear points, circle will never pass through it. Okay, because this will go, if I draw through these two, this will go here. If I draw through these two, this will go here. If I draw through these two, it will go here. Okay, so one circle will never pass through it. Okay, and between only 2 points, if I take, one second, laptop is on. it will not pass. Dikshit, feel free to try. Okay. Now here, if I have 2 points only, I can draw one circle like this, but I can also draw one circle like this. So through 2 points, I can draw infinite number of circles. Are you getting? But if I have 3 points, which is in a line, then nothing will pass, because same I should go. If I try to join these 3, it will become line segment. No. Yeah. Which means through 3 non-collinear points. So I have 3 something like this. Through these 3, there will be only one circle which will pass. Okay. I should make a circle properly. Now that circle will have, so basically there will only be one point somewhere which will have equal distance. Okay. We also did an exercise. We also did an activity where we found that circle. We joined these 2 line segments and we made the perpendicular bisector of these 2 chords. Okay. Nonetheless, do you understand the meaning of this theorem? Okay. If there are 3 points, Bindu, Shri Priya, Riza, we can only draw one circle which will pass through the 3 of them. Okay. Probably Kishan will be the center of the circle right now. Okay. If we have 3 points, Dinesh, Dikshit, Dilruba, they are linear, they are collinear, so there will be no circle. Okay. If there is Dinesh, Dikshit, Nishchay, we can draw a very big circle. Maybe somewhere here the center will come near the door or near Mansa. You getting this? Yeah. So that's what we are thinking here. Okay. 3 non-collinear points, only one circle is possible. We good with that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Moving on. 5C is done. Now, theorem number 6C.
What to do, sir?
Just write the theorem. Okay. You understand the theorem? Relax. Okay. Understood the theorem?
Yes, sir.
Enough. Yeah. Okay. Theorem 6C. Hey guys, please wait, hold on. If sir goes on, we will not be able to talk. Oh yeah. Okay. Theorem 6C. Equal chords of a circle are equidistant from the center. Okay. Equal chords of a circle, they will also give you in the bracket or congruent circles. Okay, we'll come to this in a bit just to understand. Okay, are equidistant from the center. Okay, or centers. Okay, now just take a minute to think. What is the distance from the center? When I say distance from the center, what do I mean? MG.
Radius.
Of a chord, distance of a chord from the center. Think about this. Okay, just a minute. This is my diagram. Okay, this is my circle. Right, this is a chord. Okay, MG. When I say distance from the center, what do I mean? Distance of this chord from the center. What do I mean? Dinesh, perpendicular. Which I draw here, which I did in which we used in the above theorem. No, theorem 3C and 4C. That perpendicular I should draw. Okay, this shortest distance is the distance. Okay. You're understanding this? Good with that? Between any 2 points, the shortest distance is the distance. Okay. Now this distance, OP, okay. If what the question is saying, there are 2 chords, okay. MN here, and let there be XY here. Okay. Both of them have some distance. Correct? Let this be A. Okay. Both of them have some distance. Distance of MN is OP from the center, and distance of XY from the center is OA. Okay with that? Now the question is, the theorem is saying, if so equal chords they are assuming. Okay, equal chords they are assuming. So if MN is equal to XY, okay, if this distance is equal to this distance, then OP is equal to OA. Okay with that? Yeah. Then the perpendicular distance is the same. Understood with this? This is true for any chord. I can make millions of chords which are at the same distance. I can keep on making. Maybe there is one more here. This is also suppose equal distance. Okay, there can be many chords like that. But any 2 chords which are having the same distance, which are equal in length, will have the same distance. Okay, that's what 6C is saying, and 7C is saying the converse. Okay, 7C is just saying the converse. Go ahead, Dinesh, you have a doubt? Okay, chords. So equidistant chords. Okay, no, not like this. Chords equidistant from the center. Yeah, that's also a good way of saying. If two chords are equidistant, chords equidistant from the center
And they are equal.
Then the chords are equal.
are equal in length. Okay. Okay with how I've written it?
Yes.
I've used it as I've shortened it down. Instead of saying if, then I've made it like this is the subject and this is the predicate. Okay. So you can think of it like this. If two chords are equidistant from the center, then they are equal in length. Okay. I just made it short. So basically what's going on here? The same diagram. Okay, the same diagram. I'll just write using the above diagram only. If OP is equal to OA, then MN is equal to XY. Okay with that? Everyone following this? Dilruba sahi chal raha hai? Okay, 7C is done. Okay, now we go to 8C. So before we go to 8C, we have to understand. Okay, so we have understood. We already know angle subtended by a chord, right? Angle subtended by a chord or an arc. So if this is a circle, okay, this will be my. So this is, suppose I'm drawing a chord here, AB. Okay, it is subtending an angle. Subtending bole to there is a center here. I am going to join this and this. The angle which is formed by the endpoints of this chord is called the angle subtended at the center. Okay. Chord can subtend an angle anywhere. It can subtend an angle on the circumference of the circle also. Yeah. So this is the angle subtended on the other remaining part of the circle. Are you understanding that?
Yes.
Okay with that? So A and B is the angle subtended on the remaining part of the circle. Everyone okay with this? Okay. Like this, I can draw millions of angles here. Okay. I can keep on drawing like this. Okay. All of these are subtended on the remaining part of the circle. Yeah. All of these angles will be equal. Okay. That is subtended on the remaining part of the circle. And these two will have a relation. This will be, so this is A, this will be 2A. Okay. That's our next theorem. Basically, that is theorem 8C. Okay. The angle subtended by an arc, you can take it, the theorem is talking about this arc. This arc is also subtending the same angle only, no, basically. This arc is also subtending the same angle. Okay with that? Yeah. The angle subtended by an arc at the center. Okay, why they are telling an arc? Actually, there's a reason. So use arc only. Okay, minor arc. So, okay, I'll tell you what the reason is. You have to use arc. Okay, because remaining part of the circle. Okay, that will be this arc. Okay.
Major arc.
Huh? Major. Okay, let's write this down. The angle subtended by an arc at the center at the center of the circle, just center is enough, is double the angle subtended at the remaining part of the circle. Okay. Yeah, you can also say angle subtended by the minor arc at the center is double the angle subtended by the major arc. Actually, it's true for major arc also. Okay, even major arc. So if you see, I'll rub this off for a minute. Okay, 1 second. If I take it like this, if I treat this arc, okay, Manisha. Now this arc is subtending some angle at the center. Wait. I'm not sure about this. Correct. This is the reflex angle. Yeah, we have 3 cases now here. We have done 3 cases. One was major arc, one was minor arc, one was semicircle. We'll see all 3 cases quickly. Okay. Now, let's see this. Okay. So angle is the angle subtended by an arc at the center is double the angle subtended at the subtended by it on the remaining part of the circle. Okay, this is the language of the theorem. All right. Whenever it is required, you will have to write this full language. So that's why we are going through it over and over. Okay. So here we will have 3 cases. Case 1 will take a minor arc. Case 2 will take a major arc, and case 3 will take a semicircle. Okay. So minor arc. If I take a minor arc, that's this arc I'm taking. Okay. A, B. Now it is subtending 2 angles. It is subtending an angle here at the center. That's this angle. Okay. This will be 2 times anywhere else it can subtend. Okay, it should not subtend here. This I'm not talking about. Okay, we're taking the arc, right? So remaining part is this part. Okay, good with that? Dilruba confusion? Can it subtend in between here? No, on the circle, remaining part of the circle it is saying. Circle is this boundary only. Okay, good with that? Any confusion? Mansa, clear? Hai? Okay, so basically here we have, so this is P, this is Q, then Q is equal to 2P. Okay with that? Angle Q is equal to 2 times angle P. Any problem? Okay, now case 2. Case 2, I'm going to take major, I'm going to take a major arc. Okay, same thing, but the arc is major. So I'm going to go from here to here. If I'm going from here to here, see, angle subtending, if you see this diagram carefully, okay, see the minor diagram carefully, this angle is between the radius and it's towards the side of the arc, no? Yeah, but who is subtending? It's between the radius, no? So the radius is, radii are subtending towards the side of the arc. We are not taking this one as the angle Q, right? We're taking this one as the angle Q, which is towards the side of the arc. Now you think about it. This particular is my center, this particular thing is my center. If I join these two, which one will be the green one or the blue one? Which one will be the green one will be the angle which is subtended at the center. Good with that? Yeah. So this is my center, this is Q, and angle subtended at the remaining part will be like this. Remaining part is here. Correct. Remaining part is this arc. Good with that? So this will be the remaining part. So here we will get P. Okay. Again, Q is equal to 2P. Okay. Same thing. Angle Q is equal to 2P. Now case 3 is a semicircle, is a special case. We from this only we will get our next theorem, which is not really theorem, but it's a knowledge which you should have. Is that angle subtended by the semicircle? Now think semicircle is there. At center, what it is subtending? 180 degree it is subtending. Here it is subtending 180 degree because already it's passing through in a straight line, right? Now, one second. Now, which means what will be the other angle? It will be half of that will be 90, right? And that's where we get this thing, that this thing will be, this thing always be 90 degree. Okay. So in case of a semicircle, it is always the angle subtended by a diameter or by a semicircle on the remaining part is always 90 degree. Okay. We good with that? So angle P will be equal to 90 degree. Basically, angle P is again equal. This is Q, right? Not this. Which one? Which arc are we taking? You know, this arc we are taking then. So this is Q. So Q is equal to 180 degrees. So P is equal to 90. Good with that? Where we are right now? Okay. That's our next theorem. We did what? 8C. Yeah. Going on to 9C. Yes, sir. Theorem 9C. The angle in the same segment. Angle subtended by a semicircular arc on a circle is, this is basically semicircle wala thing. Okay. Semicircular, this theorem, that is, okay, we have written it as a separate theorem. Semicircular arc will subtend, semicircle subtends right angle. Okay. Always. All right. Theorem 10C is what? 10C. Moving on to 10C. We have angles in the same segment of a circle are always equal. Angles in the same segment of a circle are always equal. Angles in the same segment of a circle are always equal. What's going on here? There's a circle. Okay. Segment I want to say this area. Okay with that? Chord banaya and the area which is there in between the arc and the chord. Okay. Minus segment. Now in this segment, the angle will always be equal. Can you think of that? Because this arc will always subtend some angle here, some angle here. These have to be equal. No, because it is subtending only one angle here. It has to be equal. No, so these angles are going to be equal. Just let me explain that quickly. See, think of this arc. This arc is subtending one single angle at the center, but it is subtending many angles here. Correct? I can keep on drawing like this. If this is one single, which means all of these should have the same measure. Hence, we come to the conclusion that angles in the same segment, in this segment, whatever angle you make with the endpoints at the end of the chord or the end of the arc, the angles will be equal. Okay with that, Shripriya? Yeah. Same way, you take the major one also, all of these angles will be equal, no? Same logic. Yeah. Good with that? Moving ahead, angles in the same segment of a circle are always equal. Theorem 11C is the converse of this. if a line segment subtends equal angles, yes. If a line segment, we didn't do it because it was proved by contradiction. Yeah, but no, we need to still understand the theorem. Okay, if a line segment subtends equal angles, okay, at two other points, okay, till now circle has not come. Okay, some line segment is there, it is subtending one, there is one point here, there is one point here, P and Q. Okay, this line segment is AP. Are you following it? Following me here so far? Okay, one line segment is there, it is putting one angle here, it is putting one angle at Q also, it's subtending one angle here, subtending one angle here also. Good with that? If they are equal, it means these four should form a circle. Okay, and these four should form a circle. Okay, so if a line segment subtends equal angles at two other points on the same side, this is another part. Okay, on the same side, if this Q is this side, no, if I put one more, like one more thing is this side, like if Q is this side, if I put Q here, then it will not form a circle. Okay, it should be on the same side of the line. This line, both P and Q should be on the same side of the line. Okay, then only it will form a circle. If it is this side, it will not form, because you see this angle and this angle are not same. Are you getting it? That's why it will not end up forming that. Okay with that? Yeah. So if on the same side of the line segment, then the 4 points are, what's the word? They are on the same circle, word concyclic. Okay, they are concyclic. Concyclic is just like collinear. On the same line is collinear. Concyclic is on the same circle. Okay with that? Concyclic. Okay. All right. Now, this was theorem 11C. One more is there. Two more are there. Angles in the same segments of the angles in a semicircle. We're done with everything. Okay. I think we're done with everything. Let me just check. Okay, there is one more word which you need to know, which is called a cyclic quadrilateral. I think cyclic quadrilateral thing is there. Yeah, yeah. So theorem, what is the theorem number there? Did we? It's not there. तुम्हारे book में है? हाँ, मिल नहीं रहा है. एक मिनट. One second. Let me check if. ठीक है. Yeah, got it. So basically, first let us understand what's a cyclic quadrilateral. Cyclic quadrilateral. So if a quadrilateral is there such that its 4 points are on a single circle, its 4 points are concyclic. Okay, the 4 vertices, A, B, C, D. ABCD is a quadrilateral. Its 4 vertices are concyclic. It means it's a cyclic quadrilateral. Okay. Now, in case of a cyclic quadrilateral, this is a 12C. Okay. If suppose we have a cyclic quadrilateral, every quadrilateral will not be cyclic. Okay, every quadrilateral will not be cyclic. It may happen, may not happen. 4 points में ऐसा नहीं है कि हमेशा एक circle बनेगा. Only in 3 points it is applicable. Okay. In 4 points we can draw a circle, we cannot draw. Depends on it. Okay, may or may not happen. Now in 12C, the sum of the pairs of opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral, that is angle A and angle C, and angle B and angle D. Okay, if we add that, so angle A plus angle C is going to be 180 degree, and angle B plus angle D is going to be 180 degrees. The sum of either pairs of opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral is 180 degree, or you can say opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are dash supplementary. Okay, cyclic Nisha. Okay, theorem 13C is the converse of this theorem. That is, if, okay, so here we know if A, B, C, D lie on a cyclic, lie on a circle. Okay, all right. Now here it is what, like this is in quadrilateral ABCD. If ABCD lie on a circle, if it is cyclic, we are assuming, then the opposite angles are equal. We are saying in 13C we are saying if angle A plus angle C is equal to 180 degree, any parallel, any like not parallel, any quadrilateral you take, suppose you are getting A and C is 180 degree and B and D is also 180 degree. Okay, Suppose this is the, suppose this actually only one is enough because the other one will automatically be in 180 degree. Then A, B, C, and D lie on a are concyclic. You can use the word are concyclic. Okay. Good with that? All right. That's the end of today's class. That's the end of 9th grade class circles also. Fantastic, guys. Thank you for your participation. Yeah. What would you say? One second. Okay, just let me finish instructions, guys. That's all for today's class. Today, in your tomorrow, when you come to school, all your theorems should be written with diagram and that if then part. Okay, in mathematics. That's all. Yeah. 9C, I told you, no. 9C is that semicircle is right triangle. Semicircle subtends right angle. Yeah. Would like you to do it yourself, Manisha, because I want you to